Hi, everybody. Welcome. We will get started in just a few minutes. And try and get us alive into our Facebook page. Oh, you probably don't need to see my screen there. All right, let me get that figured out. Preparing live streaming preview. Oh yeah, there's our delay. Okay, dismiss. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Going live. Going live. Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome, welcome. Let me just make sure we are in fact live streaming in our Facebook group. Let's see, are we there? If you're out there watching on our live feed, there we are. Go ahead and give us a like or a comment, say hello. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to really dig into what is the law of attraction and also energy healing work in general. This is a 3-day live masterclass, which means I'm going to be here at 4 p.m. Central Time today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And each day is a different theme that we have. So today's theme or topic is the law of attraction. Which I'm going to get into in a few minutes here. And then we are going to have the amazing Dr. Tanya English joining us as a panelist as well to tell us about how energy and healing work in the body. And I'll let you know how those two things are related. So congrats for being here, for showing up, for doing something that is hopefully a little more positive in your light. In your life as we are all stuck at home right now. So thank you for giving me an excuse to comb my hair, take it out of a ponytail. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all being here. I'm going to go ahead. Let me get my slides up so that we can get going. If you have questions as we go along, there's a little bit of a delay in the Facebook live feed from the Zoom webinar here, which is not a big deal. It just means if you comment something over there, it's going to take me a good minute or so to see it. And then, but we will also have different times throughout the course today where we will answer some questions and yeah, do that. Okay, well, without further ado, let's get started. If you don't know me, my name is Renee Zukin. I am the founder, owner, operator, CEO, whatever you want to call it, of Zukin's Professional Services, which the mission for ZPS, as I like to call it, is to really help people get peace of mind, whether I'm doing that through professional organizing or I'm leading courses like this, or I do some one-on-one and group coaching and mentoring as well. So ZPS is also putting on an event this summer in July, which is now going to be an online event, but we're very excited because it actually gives us a lot of opportunity to have more people involved. So I'll talk more about Midwest Elevation as we get to the end of our time together today. But that's just a little background about who I am, why I'm doing this, and why we're here. So with our event in July, we thought we would give you a glimpse over the course of these next 3 days and in the months ahead of some of our amazing presenters who are coming there, and especially right now with the work that we are all doing here in the Midwest to lift our spirits, to elevate our consciousness, to help raise the collective conscious so that there is more kindness and love and less fear in the world. That is certainly my hope, and I think it might be yours too. So let's get going. Oh, did I forget anything? No. Okay. Just got to check my notes, you know. All right. Day one, understanding the law of attraction. Some of you may have heard of The Secret. If you've heard of it, go ahead and just give me a yes or no in the comments. The Secret was a movie that came out. Oh, when did that? Geez, I don't know. I'm gonna misrepresent that. But I personally saw it probably about 10 or 15 years ago, and it really just captured the essence of what the law of attraction is. But if that is your only involvement or experience with the law of attraction, that's not the end all be all. And so, great. So some of you have seen the movie. That's awesome. Or maybe you've read a book. There's a ton of books out there about the law of attraction. But basically, you know, the idea is that like attracts like, that what we are thinking and feeling and experience, we will attract more of. And how does that work exactly? Well, I am not a physicist or a scientist, but I have done a lot of reading and researching, and I read other people's work. But also for me, it actually came down to a knowing when I was very young. As a junior high student, I remember first learning about atoms, and that all matter in the universe, right, was made up of atoms. And there's atoms are, you know, constantly moving, changing, binding together, right? So at the very cellular level, everything is connected because we're all made of the same thing, right? These atoms. And then obviously you get down to an even a subatomic and now a quantum level. So you've probably heard a lot of people talking about quantum physics, more so over the last 5 years than ever before, at least for lay people, right? The scientists have been talking about it and studying it for years. Thank you, Einstein. But at the quantum level, it's even more so connected to, you know, all matter is connected, all, even, you know, everything in the universe at a quantum level is vibrating in some frequency, whether we can see it or hear it or not. So if everything is vibrating, right, and like attracts like, then even us in our physical bodies and our beings and our thoughts and things are also vibrating at a certain frequency. So what does that mean for you and me? Well, at a very basic level, if we understand, you know, and Dr. Tanya English, who's going to be with us later on, is going to talk a little bit more about it. But, you know, how our brains work and our bodies work is really through energetic synapses, right? Brain waves, you know, having a thought is one electrical jump from one spot in your brain to another. So it's electric, right? So we that really means that everything that we are thinking and the feelings that we have are all running at a certain vibration, and those vibrations put signals out into the universe. And if like attracts like water droplets, right? If you have two little water droplets that, are close together, eventually they get close enough and they turn into one big one. And then you'll see that you can have more of what you want, and more of the things that come to you. Now, this doesn't mean, I know people can get tied up in some of the details, right? You don't just sit and you think, oh, I'm rich, and then all of a sudden you have loads of money, or, oh, I really wish that the perfect person would come along and I'll never, it's not quite that simple. But it certainly is a starting point, right? I have if you quote up there from Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's very simple. And a lot of that, right, has to do with our perception. And having that positive mindset is a huge deal, right? Because it gives you a sense of grit, I think is that word that I want to use. So it's really important to have that mindset, not just because you want to, have everything in the world, but because it will help you feel better. And when you feel better, right, you put out a different vibe. We talk about, they've been talking about vibes since the 60s. You put out a better vibe, a different vibe, right? And that the experiences and the opportunities can come to you. And when you feel better, you feel more apt to then take risks on those opportunities, to connect with other people, to do the things that you really desire to do. One of the things that I also wanted to mention was that, thoughts and feelings are very interconnected. Sometimes it's hard to know which comes first, right? Chicken or the egg. When you're using your intuition a lot more, the feelings tend to come first, and then you observe and think about them. When you're in your head a lot more, and for different experiences and different in different times, if you're in your head a lot more, then your thoughts are coming first and your body follows suit. So when we say the term thoughts become things or thoughts become experiences, these things happen and occur both because of a mindset and also because of a feeling and that vibration that the feeling holds. Now, the thing about both thoughts and feelings is that they are always changeable. And that's something that I think is vitally, vitally important to remember, especially when we are in the thick of maybe not having a great day. A lot of us are stuck at home, maybe going a little stir crazy, watching the news a lot or not watching the news a lot. And, there are a lot of things that feel pretty out of control. But the one thing we do have control over, even in our homes, even sequestered with our children or by ourselves, is what we're thinking about and what we're feeling. And not that you can necessarily change a feeling based on a thought. Well, that's a little more complicated, but the feelings aren't forever, right? Everything is temporary. Thoughts can change, feelings can change. And so you have an opportunity to not ignore the feelings, but to hold them differently, in knowing that it will pass. So feel the feelings and then letting it go. And that's vitally important, especially when you're under a lot of stress, to be able to do those things, to acknowledge the feelings, to acknowledge the hardships. Because you'll notice, and I'm sure, you know, when you are feeling sad or afraid, you don't have a lot of energy, right? Sadness depletes us of our energy. But when you're feeling joyful or excited, you feel happy, right? Yes, dissipating the feelings. So this is one critical way that the law of attraction works, is by you being a vessel of vibration, having the ability to think about things in a new way, to change your perspectives, to feel your feelings, let them dissipate, and rise to the next level, right? Each step up, you know, from sadness to anger, you know, to joy, and maybe, you know, and there's a million things in between. Each of those things raises you up, raises your vibration. And then the cycle of the things that you can attract and your desires can come to you. And especially when it comes to healing. One thing I had down here on my slides is Dr. Emoto and the Secret Language of Water. If any of you have watched the movie What the Bleep Do We Know, which I think came out 20 years ago also. I'm dating myself a little bit here. That's okay. These things have been around a really long time, and there's so many important messages. But if you haven't heard about the Secret Language of Water, Dr. Emoto did studies where he took photos of crystallized water, but put them in different experiences. So he, you know, yelled at this one cup of water, and in its crystal form, it was very asymmetrical and discolored. And, you know, another cup of water, he, you know, said loving, wonderful things to it, and the crystals were beautiful. There's a range of testing that's in its very basic form, but that's the thing that I want to get across, is that that it matters, right? And especially as somebody who's gone through dealing with anxiety and depression, it is, it's not always easy. And no, it's not just positive thinking, right? So I want to make that clear, that this at its basic form is about much more than just positive thinking. There's personal work involved, and it is, it's amazing work, and gratitude plays a big role in it as well. So my last note down there on my slide is emotions are the signals for our experiences. And tomorrow, when we will be talking about living consciously, we're going to be talking a lot more about how our emotions are signals for the things that we need to learn and know. But in the meantime, 2,000 years. In the meantime, let me introduce you to one of my dear friends. Dr. Tanya English has been working for over 30 years in the healing field, and probably longer. She just didn't know it yet. First as a massage therapist, then as a chiropractor and energy healer. Dr. English has been inspired by the idea that we have been born with the power to heal, and I firmly believe in that. I am going to bring Dr. Tanya up here onto, let's see, I got to promote her to a panelist so that she can take over.
Here I am.
Hi, there you are. We can hear you now. Let's see.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
Here.
How are you?
I'm great. I had the most amazing thing happen. I just want to share this with you right off the bat.
Yes.
You know, you talk about thoughts and feelings and, creating what you want in your life. And we talk about that a lot. So I created a dog right here.
You're amazing.
Here's my new dog. His name's Lucky.
Oh, hi, Lucky.
Lucky. I
You're
wanted a
so
dog
cute.
for a long time, off and on for years. And he was given to us yesterday with all of his equipment and all of his stuff. And now we have a dog.
Perfect.
And he's sweet.
He
He's just
looks
a
very
doll.
sweet.
Thank you, Lucky. So we're lucky. We're lucky to have Lucky. Yeah, I sent a message to a friend of mine the other day. I said, this is my imaginary dog. His name is Mr. Bojangles. And she wrote back and said, you can have a dog. And then the next day, we heard about him and we went and got him yesterday. And
there you go. You can and you will have a dog.
And I've thought for years, like, I don't have the lifestyle I should have to have a dog. And, it's really like having a little child. It's not like a cat.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with dogs and I miss dogs. And he's non-shedding. Yay. I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
So I just want to say a couple of things about some of the things that you brought up, which is really cool. Quantum physics is the physics of living systems. So Newtonian physics is the physics of objects. And that Newtonian physics is you hit a billiard ball on the pool table and it hits another ball and it hits another ball and it goes into the pocket. Well, that's not the way life works. Life works, everything happens at the same time, and anybody that's been around children or has children knows that that's true. So the quantum physics is like everything happening all together. When we're in school, we learn about systems and they're all separated, but that's not how it works. They don't work separated. And you also mentioned something about, you said electrical, and I would say chemoneuroelectromagnetic. That's what is going on.
See, and this is why you're here.
Yeah, it's the doctor thing.
Uh-huh.
Sciencey, all sciencey now. And we're going to do a little bit more science, but I think you'll like it. It's easy and fun. And hey, you're learning about yourself. So what could be better than that, right? We all love to talk about ourselves. So I know it's my favorite subject.
Right.
So we're talking about that. The other thing that you said was, this is more than positive thinking. Oh, it's so much more than positive thinking, because positive thinking is like saying an affirmation over and over again and then having this wishful idea, this wishful thinking that it will come true. But we are multidimensional beings here. So this stuff goes deep, and you can have positive thinking. There's nothing wrong with that. But the whole idea is that you reach it on all levels, because yes, your emotions and your thoughts are changeable unless you've created a pattern, and that's a groove in your brain, basically, where the neurons travel so fast you can't do it. I mean, faster than that.
Right.
That you can't stop. That's not very fast, actually. When we're talking about brains, that's slow. So allowing on all levels, not just your conscious thoughts. Because when you have a pattern developed, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when I start showing you slides. When you have a pattern developed, the pattern goes so quickly that you don't think about it. Here's an example for you. Have you ever gone to the grocery store? You're driving home from work, let's say, and you're thinking about what you're going to get at the store. You're not thinking about driving the car. That pattern is worn in your brain. You don't need to consciously think of it, because you are thinking about your list of stuff that you're going to get and who's going to be at the store and how do I look once I get there and what if I run into somebody I don't want to see, all that stuff.
Are you in my head?
Yeah. I just get right in there. It's easy. It's wide open, Renee.
Yeah.
Which is good, except that, no, we'll talk about that another time. But the whole idea is that pathway is very well worn. Now, those pathways become worn because something happened with high intense emotion, or it happened over and over and over again, like walking. You can learn how to walk, and then you never have to think about it again. And you can learn how to drive a car, And then you don't really have to think about it once you've repeated that pattern enough that it's worn that groove in your brain. I don't mean literally a groove, but maybe, who knows?
Well, could be. Yeah.
But we can watch that. So I'm gonna teach you a little bit about this anatomy stuff. And then what I'm gonna do is I'll take questions afterwards. Okay, and then you can put them in Facebook. I'm not going to watch the Facebook feed while I'm doing this because it's too distracting and I won't stay on topic.
Yeah, I'll watch it for you.
If you let me, I can share the screen, I think.
You should be able to.
I should be able to. There we go. So we're going to talk about how healing and disease happen. And I think I can do this as, oh yes, there we go. Okay, it's all good.
Yeah.
So this is, isn't this awesome? I love technology. I love it when it works. Let's just put it that way. So this is how healing and disease happen. Maybe everybody, or you've never heard this. This is maybe new for you. If you have disbelief about this, I would just set it aside for a little bit while I teach you about this, because it's all real. So this is your nervous system. You have 3 different parts of your nervous system. There is the motor, pain, and autonomic part, and pain can also be sensory. So you have these 3 parts. The motor part is controlled by your thinking mind, your frontal cortex. This is where you think a thought. So I think I want to point at my forehead, all the muscles in my arm and my hand move to let me point at my forehead. So it's controlling muscles. And when you have interference and you see around there, you see weakness, tightness, spasm, and fatigue. Those are the things that are interrupting that movement through the brain. The pain is reflexive and it's controlled by your lower brain, your brain stem. And then the autonomic, which you can think of as automatic. Of course, everything has to be in Latin, right? So automatic. And that's controlling your blood vessels, your organs, and your glands. And you can't do this through your thoughts. This is controlled by your subconscious. You cannot tell your blood pressure, come down. You can't tell it to do what you want it to do. A mother who's pregnant doesn't know when to make the baby's liver. She doesn't have to think about it. And if it had been up to me, I probably would have made the blood before I made the blood vessels, because, oh, got to get that done. So it's good that I don't have control over that. And you don't really want that kind of control. It's too much. So this is your autonomic nervous system. This is the thing that your subconscious is controlling. So you have 2 parts to your autonomic nervous system. There's fight or flight, and there's rest, digest, and heal. And if you look at this, fight or flight has all the same organs as rest, digest, and heal does, with one exception. There's your adrenal gland. Because you have an accelerator, but there's no brake. But I'm going to teach you how to brake. Don't worry. I won't leave you without a brake. But it's true. Your physiology doesn't do that. And that's why EMT workers, emergency personnel have a 10-year lower life expectancy than everybody else. And that's because they go into fight or flight, and it takes hours to come out of it. But what you can do is you can do a breathing technique I'll show you in a bit, and that will bring you back to rest, digest, and heal much quicker if you actually do it. You have to do it. So the subconscious tells it what to do. The subconscious is telling these things what to do. It functions according to what you feel, what you're feeling, or it functions reflexively. Like if you see a snake in the ground, you can jump away from it, but then your mind looks at it again and says, oh, it's only a stick that looks like a snake. So the reflexes jump away from that thing that's dangerous. Got it? Mm-hmm. So you're either in rest, digest, and heal, or you're in fight or flight. You can't be in both. Fear and love cannot abide. That's what that means. Fear and love cannot occupy the same place. When you're in fight or flight, let's see what it says next. The body only knows survive or not survive. Healing happens according to what is most important to survival. So if someone comes into me and they have a backache, but their heart is having a problem, they're going to have the heart problem heal first because the backache isn't as important. So all of this only depends on your perception. So we're going to do a little experiment right now. So I want you to think of a lemon. I want you to think, let's see if this worked out right, if I've got the right thing here. Oh, I don't. I stuck another slide in here and it's not there. Okay, so anyway, just think about a lemon. I want you to imagine, close your eyes and imagine that in front of you as a cutting board, a knife, and a lemon. And this lemon is like the most perfect looking lemon you've ever seen. And you can actually touch it in your mind. You're touching this lemon, you can feel the skin, the oil from the skin on your fingers. You pick up the knife and you take a slice through it. Now you can really smell it and you can see the juice running along the knife. And you take another slice and you take a wedge of that lemon and you put it in your mouth and bite down. Okay, now give me some hearts if you have more saliva in your mouth. Give me some hearts on Facebook if you have more saliva in your mouth now than before. And I'll wait because we have a little delay here. So,
well, I can say I definitely did. I even squinted when I bit into the lemon because I was like,
because your body remembers what a lemon tastes like. It remembers what that body is going to do. And if we took the pH of your saliva before that and after that, the after pH would be a higher pH to counteract the low acidity pH of the lemon. That's how quickly your physiology changes. Yeah. All you had to do was think about a lemon. Yeah, now you want a lemon.
Yeah, I know. Just lemonade. Olivia, right?
I know. It's the craziest thing. So now, don't think about it. Stop thinking about lemons.
Take a drink of water if you got one.
Yeah. So now what's happening is your body is getting ready for that lemon because it's memorized that. See how quick that was? It's faster than I can snap my fingers. And if I had had that picture of the lemon up here like I would, you would have started salivating as soon as you saw the picture. So your subconscious is running your body through your feelings. So you're thinking about a lemon. You don't have a lot of feelings about that unless something terrible happened to you and lemons were involved. But your subconscious is running your body. So here's your feelings. This is a chart that I use in the office. This is 140 feelings. There's way more than that. But you can see the negative feelings, that's all fear. The positive feelings, that's all love. They're all based on those two
feelings. Did you say there's 140?
On this chart.
That's amazing.
There's only one feeling that's on both the negative and the positive side, and that's sex.
Huh. Well, yeah, that makes
sense. Sex over here, right here. And sex
that's
over here.
A story for another day.
Hello. So we work on that too, subconsciously. So here's the thing. When you look at this chart, don't try to make one-to-one relationships between the sides, okay? They're not. There's no relationship between A5 and on one column and A5 on two column, okay? Don't worry about that. I want you to think about this. Your feelings are the way your subconscious knows what physiology to create. Your feelings are the way that your subconscious knows what physiology to create. It doesn't matter if you're thinking it or if you're imagining it. Your patterns of physiology are created with, like I said, intense emotion or repetition. Each feeling represents a vibration that's sent out in all directions. Like attracts like. You're sending out fear subconsciously. You're going to get things that are going to bring fear toward you. See, this is why it's important to do the deeper healing. So each feeling represents a vibration, because it is. And empathic people can feel your vibration, and we're all empathic. We all have that ability. And the other thing that I want to say about that is, if you're empathic and you feel like you don't have control over that in your life, this is something that I work with people with all the time. I teach them how to have that kind of control so it's not overwhelming to them. Your perception is creating your physiology. So you feel like somebody's following you down the street, you go into fight or flight, you turn around and you see it's just a plastic bag that's blowing down the street. It's the same physiology. It doesn't matter if it's really happening. That's why visualization works. That's why elite athletes use visualization. They're visualizing themselves doing exactly perfectly what they've been training to do, and then their body does it. Same thing with you. You do that too. So your perception is creating it. It can do the pattern for a lifetime or until one is brought into present time consciousness. So this thing that happened when you were 5, when somebody yelled at you while you were being creative, and so now whenever you feel like you want to be creative, you have to deal with that physiology, and it's totally subconscious, so you don't even realize that it's happening. That's what's happening. It's one of those things where you might have a block toward it. You don't really know why, because it's something that happened when you were pre-verbal, before you learned how to speak your feelings. And many people never learn how to speak their feelings or dissipate their feelings. And I use all kinds of quantum healing techniques to help you do that. So this causes compensations in the body because things aren't online the way they should be. Like this thing is taken out because you're in fight or flight subconsciously. So these compensations happen and they're degrading. So imagine if you have an engine and one piece of the engine isn't doing its job, pretty soon everything will start to like not work right, right?
Makes sense.
Okay, so this was, oh, I picked the wrong one, I think. It's all right. There's a lot of words here, but I'm going to explain this. Okay. Don't look at the words just yet.
Okay, we'll just listen to you.
Just listen to me. So here's what I'm going to tell you about this. A feeling starts as the result of something being told to us as children, because from 0 to 6, all we do is mimic our primary caregiver. Or it can even happen in utero, because whatever your mother's feeling, you're getting that physiology as a child, as a baby, as a fetus. The feelings are not processed or acknowledged, or they're pushed down. And then the feeling continues, the physiology that it does, until it's dealt with, or unless it's dealt with.
So that's why the cycles, like we have repeated patterns or cycles of experience that keep happening.
Exactly, because that subconscious pattern is moving along. Other feelings do the same thing. So you can see over here on this side, there's guilt. Oh, something happened and I felt guilty, or my mother felt guilty while I was inside. And then something else happened and now anxiety is running. And something else happens and now there's jealousy running. Eventually, all of these feelings on top of each other is going to show up symptoms. So the body can only take so much before the system's compensating for where there's too much or not enough energy break down. And then a breakthrough happens and it's restored. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing right now because I want to show you something else that's the correct thing. Let's see what happens. What happens when Tanya gets the right thing in front of her? I wonder if I did that by, let's see, today is, that's weird. I thought I worked on this. Okay, well, at any rate, what I want to tell you is that it's really, really important for you to understand that you have all the power to deal with this. You do. You have all the power to deal with this. And it's not something that is difficult. It's not rocket science. It's something that if you're working with somebody who knows how to do this, like Renee or myself, and there's other people here too, that knows how to deal with these things, then it's very, very simple. And all you have to do is follow directions, because what people think is that this is really difficult. And the work that I do, it's very easy. You just have to follow the directions. The directions are, I'm the healing GPS, and I'm telling you where to go to find the healing. So for instance, when I'm using a specific technique that's a quantum healing technique, like emotional freedom technique, I'll have you speak the words that I speak and tap in certain areas. And those areas correspond to chi meridians, acupuncture points throughout the body. And it helps take down that electrochemical, neurological, magnetic charge that's on what you're dealing with. When I'm doing bioenergetic synchronization technique, I'm having you think of a specific feeling, put your eyes in a certain location that corresponds to parts of the brain, do a specific kind of breathing, think of a number, think of all these things at once, and then we wait until the pulse that you have of cells multiplying and dividing becomes synchronous. So there's all more different techniques like that too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I hear you saying too, like, that we don't necessarily need to understand all the science behind it, right? We don't understand, you know, how a telephone works, but we use it, or a cell phone telephone. I don't understand how telephones work either, but
we have those too.
right? But that the simple, you know, the simple techniques, right? That can be used, you know. My physical therapist tells me I should do XYZ exercise on my knee. And if I don't do it, then it doesn't get better, you know, or.
Well, and the fact is that when you actually dig up or go into those deep places that you have been trying so hard to avoid because it's painful, you don't want to think about it, you don't, well, it's easier for me to distract myself with helping somebody else. Oh yeah, it's so much better to give than to receive. Then you can't be authentically who you really are. And who you really are, I'll tell you who you really are. You didn't know this.
No. Tell me.
I'm bold. I'll say it right to your face. You're a divine expression of unconditional love.
I love
That's
that.
who you are.
Yeah.
You're
every
this.
single one of us. Every single one of us.
You're this right here on the earth, and you're this right here, the higher self. And this is the part of you that is connected with source energy. And when we're doing healing, we connect you all right with source energy. We ask source energy to come in. We ask that. It's not an altar call, but it is inviting source energy to come into every cell, molecule, and atom and all the space in between. So yes, there is, I know that a lot of people, and I do want to address this, a lot of people are turned off by the law of attraction. And I can tell you that it's scripture-based. It is. Jesus said, all of these things you can do and greater than these, if you but believe and do it in my name, meaning do it how I do it.
Well, and not just Jesus, right? So,
exactly.
You know, source energy, you know, we as humans have to come up with language and ways to talk about something that our conscious brains can't really necessarily understand or quantify, right?
That's
we want to quantify everything.
Yeah.
And for me, that's why, you know, I go back to that 7th grade science when I was like sitting in there and like, oh, atoms make up all the things in the universe. Everything in the universe is all connected. Da-da-da. You know, I was like, okay. So for me, quantum physics is God.
Yep.
You know?
That's what I say. Like, what is that stuff that's holding the electron spinning around the nucleus?
Right.
It's like gravity. Right. It just is. You don't think about it. You don't go, oh, I hope gravity's working today. It just is.
Right.
Otherwise we're flying off. So the way that we work with this is we don't have to tell our sad story again. You've heard it enough. If you say it out loud again, that's another 5 times that you've had to think about it, because you had to think about it. You had to find the words in one part of your brain. You had to put all the words together in another part of your brain. Then you had to speak it out loud. Then you got to hear it again.
Yeah.
You know what your sad story is. You don't need to hear it again. What we need to do is go in there and get that deeper part of it to release, so that you can allow source energy in, and then you don't have to run the show anymore. You just let source run the show. And that's a way easier way to live. That's how you get a dog for no money.
You get a dog.
That's how you get a dog, and you don't have to pay $1,000 to have something love you.
No. I won't tell you how much I paid for my dog.
Well, you know, it was so funny. I just kept thinking, it doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with it for other people, but for me, it was like, there's a different way that it's going to happen for me. And we got the call, and it wasn't even adoption. It was like a friend of a friend. So
that's perfect.
It's the way I got my husband. It's the way it's the way I got my dog. It's the way I started doing my band and singing.
Yeah.
It's the way that you can allow all of your deepest passions and desires to show up in your life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I can help you with that if you want help.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to just take a quick minute to talk about that energy scan that you do?
Oh yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So the way that people come in to work with me on energy is you don't have to come in here to the office, although that's my adjusting table. So I have my home office, but I actually find that people get deeper healing when we're doing the energy work, which is why I started doing it. Plus I can use all of me and not just, oh, here's what I learned kind of stuff. So I'm inviting God in all the time and to talk to us about what you need to have happen. So the intuitive energy scan is the exam that I do for your energy. So we get on the phone, or if you're outside of the United States, we get online, and I actually just read your energy intuitively. I don't look at you. I don't talk to you while I'm doing the scan. I'm just sitting here writing everything, and I look at each chakra, and the chakras are energy centers in your body. So if we took everything away from you that we could touch and just left your energy sitting there, I would see these 7 major centers of energy. And each one of these centers of energy has characteristics of your spiritual development. And so they correspond to all different kinds of things. You can look it up online ad nauseum, what chakras are all about. But what I will tell you is that they each have different aspects, and they each have aspects of all the other chakras in them. And when I'm reading somebody, it's like a 3-dimensional story that I'm telling you about you. So it may be something that's happened to you in this life. It may show up to me as a visual. It may show up as words. I may end up channeling something and giving you downloads that I'm getting. It may be a movie that I see. So I'll give you a hint too. This is so funny. So I'm when I'm looking at third eye right here, when I'm looking at that intuitively, so I usually am just sitting here and I'm writing and I'm asking Source, show me what's going on with the third eye. And I kept getting lighthouses over and over and over again. And I'm like, why do I keep getting lighthouses? And right here on my desk, at about the third eye level, is this beautiful paperweight my sister gave me years ago. Is that something else?
Yeah,
And it actually is a really good symbol for the third eye, because the third eye is your 50,000 foot view. It's you being able to see vistas.
Yeah.
And so what I see here is I'll see people near the lighthouse, around the lighthouse. Oh, they're up at the top of the lighthouse. They're scared of the lighthouse. They're up there, but they don't know how to get down, all different ways. So it's very interesting.
It's a great tool that you have there.
See, so I'm using everything around me to tell me what's going on with you, because nothing is an accident. It's all meaningful as long as I know that it's something that it's for you, and I'm doing it from my heart, from my 2nd chakra and my 5th chakra.
Yeah.
4th chakra. So it's a really nice way to see the kaleidoscope that we are, to see ourselves in this beautiful way. Some of what happens during that is healing, because when I'm telling you what I found, it may be something that you've never been able to verbalize, but you get it. You're like, oh my gosh, that is true, but I've never heard it spoken before. Right. And sometimes it's like an absolute picture of exactly what happened to you. So, and it's anywhere in between. So past lives show up. Doesn't matter if you believe in them or not. If you don't, that's okay. Think of it as a story that's coming out of your field of energy. And the other thing I want to say about that energy being that I showed you, that you are, your expression of divine love that you are, is those beams aren't just going out, they're coming in. So your energy is radiating in and out all the time. And when your energy gets more and more dense, then we can see you. So you're all really dense.
Thanks, Tanya. You're so
dense. But in a really good way.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
So the intuitive energy scan is how you come in, and then we do a little bit of healing, and then we see what's the way that's going to work best for you to work with me. So we talk about it.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Tanya.
You're so welcome.
I'm so happy
I
you
link
were
down
here.
here.
Yeah, put it in the comments there too. So let me get back to my
Good.
slides here. And get there's your beautiful face back up there.
My chat disappeared. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
So there's a couple different ways that you can get in touch with me. Healing with the Blues is one way. That's a business that I'm working on, doing healing with blues music, because blues music really gets those emotions quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also get to me through Quantum Healing International. And I'll put both of those in the chats.
Awesome.
You're so welcome, Julia. Thank you.
All right, let me, wait, what did I do? I need to get back. So I know you can see my screen, but we're looking at, hold on. See, this is why we have technology. All right.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. I'm saying thank you to Amina. You're welcome.
Yay.
Hey, Evan. Haven't seen you in a while. I bet you're big.
He is big. My son is on there? Are they watching? Wow. Well, that's awesome.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. Okay, I am going to put you back to attendee.
Thank you, everybody.
All right,
it's such a great pleasure to talk with you today. Thanks, Renee.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Did it go? All right, well, I'm going to turn off your video. Okay. Well, now we're still, oh, there we go. Oh, look, I didn't even know. All right, last little bit here. If there were any questions that anybody had.
Oh, yeah.
In the oh, we sure are. Hi, Mom. Hi, guys. Thanks. I love my kids.
Yeah, do you have any questions? They can still hear me?
They can still hear you,
okay,
yes.
So yeah, if you have any questions, just ask.
Okay. I'm not seeing anything come up.
We have to wait for them.
I know. Actually, the delay is not too bad now that we've been on for a little while.
Good.
Yeah, it's gotten better. I'm pleased. Very pleased. And then there's some stuff here on the Zoom webinar. That's what you've been. Awesome. Okay, so just a couple more quick things. Thank you again to Tanya for all your info and the the support here and the support that you give to so many in our community and around, thanks to technology. It's not just, we don't have to just come into your office anymore. But two things I wanted to mention. So I mentioned earlier in the call that ZPS is putting on an event this summer called Midwest Elevation, right? And so as I was talking today about the law of attraction, and Dr. Tanya was talking to us about our feelings and the vibrations, right? We talk about being elevated. And one of the things that is my personal mission, perhaps, is to not only elevate myself in my personal growth, in my healing, and my learning journey, so that I can feel better myself, but also so that I can help others, right? It's that, in the airplane, the directions to put your mask on first, right? So first, I've been having to go through the lessons in the healing, and guess what? It never ends. It gets better. It definitely gets way, way better and a lot easier. But I want to bring as many people along for the ride as we can, and nobody can do it alone. And we have so many amazing, amazing people doing this work here locally in so many different modalities. On Saturday, I'm so excited. On Saturday, we're going to have Adina with us, who is a shaman, and she's going to be leading us on some stuff to get into our creative flow. And I'm really excited about that. And if you go to our Midwest Elevation website, it's just www.midwestelevation.com. And you'll see all the speakers and workshop leaders that we've had lined up. And I think it's just going to grow. We have the opportunity here to widen this experience and to bring so much healing and joy and opportunity to the Midwest. Oh, thank you, Tanya, for putting it up there on Facebook. To the Midwest, from the Midwest, right? We're doing this work here. You know, the idea came to me because I was so frustrated that all the gurus that I had been following, or, you know, a lot of these really great events were, you know, on the coast of California or in Hawaii or off in Bali, and which is all great and amazing. And if you can go do that, by all means, go do it. But it wasn't feasible for me. And I knew that it wasn't necessary because, you know, we're the heartland, right? We have so much heart and love, and opportunity for healing and growth right here. And so that's what this event is really standing for. And I did want to give those of you who are here live, and right now, I think, let's see, how many of you are there? We've got about 15 people here live. I wanted to give you a special offer to, if you purchase your ticket today from the live event here, that you get 2 tickets for the price of 1. And not only that, but you get it at our early bird pricing. So if you check out the website, you will be saving double the money for you and a friend to get on board the Midwest Elevation Train with us, and continue in your own personal journey of healing and hope, and, you know, lifting us all up together, because we are in this together. For sure we are, and no experience has taught us that than the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Did anybody have any questions about anything we've talked about today? We certainly can get into more details and more work. Reach out to Dr. Tanya or reach out to myself. Check out the Midwest Elevation website. The 2-for-1 ticket sales will be for today. We will be back again at 4 p.m. tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, when I will be talking about living consciously. So we're going to take the pieces that we learned today about the law of attraction and our emotions and our feelings.
Can I teach them the breathing thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Put me back on video.
Okay.
And we'll end with this, because this would be a great way to end.
That will be a great way to end. Let me, how do I, hold on, stop share.
There we go. All right.
Now I got to put your video back on.
Back on.
There we go. Did it go?
Start my video. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, everybody, this will take about 32 seconds. So then you'll be able to say something after if you want. Okay, so I'm always thinking of you, Renee. Always.
Thank you.
So everybody, exhale all your breath out, and then you're going to breathe in slowly. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold it out, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe normally. So now, how do you feel after doing that?
Whoa, I am, you know, I've been buzzing up here all hour, and now I definitely feel like I am solid.
Yes, so this is a really good thing to do before you have something big to do, like something like this. It's a really good thing to do, and to teach your children how to do this, because they need to learn how to run their own state of being. And when you teach it to them, teach them on the way to sleep, because it's a really great way if you wake up in the night to do 4-count breathing and then go back to sleep. There's a really great video on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dr. Tanya English. And you can look at the 4-count breathing video there, and it tells you more about what the physiology is doing. But start practicing, make a rule for yourself. Do it at a stoplight every time you get to a stoplight, or before you eat in the morning or something like that, so that you do it regularly. And you'll get really good at it, and you'll be able to go to 5 and maybe 6.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, you taught me that, what, 10 years ago now?
At least.
And I did. I taught my kids. I use it with my students at school when, people are.
I just got a message from my cousin in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta. She uses it with her special needs children that she teaches, and they've been teaching it to all the rest of the students. So a lot of people are using 4-count breathing, and that's how to bring yourself back from fear.
Yeah.
Get out of fear.
Yeah. It just, takes you from that.
Thank you for letting me do that.
Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me that we were going to do that. All right. Oh, Kim asked what the dates of the conference are. They are July 18th and 19th. It's a Saturday and Sunday. We may still have an in-person component. That is yet to be determined, but for now, everything will be online and available to you. In addition to, of course, being a member of our Facebook group, which all of you are watching on the Facebook Live. So appreciate all of you being here. Thank you to Tanya. Thank you, all of you, for being here and listening. I hope you've learned something, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Yay. Bye, Renee. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you.